Hello friends, once again I welcome you to the second session of this story, that is the Talkative Barber. So my dear children, you have just read the story and it's time for us to see whether we have understood the story or not. So here are some questions prepared for you. See what your questions ask you. First question, how many brothers did the barber have? You can guess. Yes, you remember? Yes, he had 6 brothers, right? But here, it's not sufficient just to write 6 brothers. If you can remember the names, fine. Otherwise, you'll manage with 6, right? It's always better that you go beyond what is asked, right? You should be prepared with more information, right? Okay, next one. Why was Sultan in a hurry? You read it in the story that Sultan was in a hurry, right? Why was he in a hurry? Can you guess? Yes, go back to your story. Locate that point where we mentioned about why was he in a hurry? Because he had invited, the Sultan was completely fed up by now and decided to satisfy the barber. He told him that he was giving a feast to some of the friends at noon, which was why he was in a hurry to leave. If you read the story carefully, you will be able to locate all the answers. And that is what we have to remember. This is something that we have discussed. Sometimes you'll also get some unknown piece of writing and you will be asked some questions, right? So you should be reading it carefully so that we can locate the answers quickly. Now, why did the barber take so long to shave the Sultan? Tell me. Right? Can you just tell? Yes, the barber took so long. Why? What was the reason? Do you think the reason could be that he was wasting his time talking on certain things that were unnecessary? Yes, you can say that. That's the simplest way of answering it. But I will leave it on to you to find out the way I just helped you in locating the answer for the previous question. Here also you can just try to locate where you can get the answer of this. This is how you are going to find out the answer from the story. Now next question, write true or false. The barber was shaving the Sultan's beard. The Sultan gave him 3 gold coins. The barber refused to leave the Sultan's palace. There were 7 brothers altogether in Sultan's family. See whether you can answer these correctly or not. All these answers I am not going to tell you because you can better find out the answers for these, whether these statements given are true or false. Right? Okay, do it and try it and enjoy it. Next question, why did the barber want a lot of food? Why did the barber want a lot of food? Yes, the reason is obvious. What is that? The barber had also invited some of his friends for the feast and he had forgotten to make all the preparations. Am I right? Am I right? Okay, just find out from the story. Did the Sultan enjoy the barber's talk? Why do you say so? Do you think Sultan was enjoying barber's talk? No, at several places we find that he lost his temper. He uses certain words like I'm fed up, I'm exhausted. So what you need to do, you have to find out these words. You have to locate these words which would give you a clue that he was not at all enjoying the barber's talk. And these clues will tell you whether you support in whatever way you want to say, whether it's really true whether he was enjoying or not, right? What are the things the Sultan gave to the brother? There are so many things. 3 things that he had given. Initially, he had given gold coins, right? And then fruits, then food. So what are the things the Sultan gave to the barber? It should be barber, okay? Next is, do you think the Sultan was really very generous? Why do you say so? Do you think he was generous? I think your answer should be no. I'm just giving the clue no. Now find out why do you think he was not generous, right? Okay, this was all about the questions. Now we'll move on to the next part, next discussion, that is the language part. Now there are, as you can see, the heading word building. English is one such language where there are several techniques, several ways to frame words, to coin words, right? To derive words from one particular word, right? And we say that the use of prefixes and suffixes. Now you are introduced, I think you are listening to these two terms, prefix and suffix, for the first time, right? Now tell me, from the word prefix and suffix, from the word prefix, you can easily guess what it is. Now, prefix, what is it? When I said that there are several ways of deriving words, right? So there are several ways of deriving words. You have a single word, and from that word, by adding prefix or by adding suffix, or sometimes even infixes, we have some words, some terms, some letters which can be put between, right? So we are not going to talk about all that. This part, we are just going to concentrate on prefixes. We are not even going to discuss on suffixes, because prefix itself, what we have taken in this part is a very limited one. That is, we are concentrating on only those prefixes which are used to negate or to form opposites of the word. Right? So first of all, let us know what are prefixes. As the word prefix, fix means something you are fixing, you are adding, you are attaching. Now pre means something that is added before, that is done before. So here prefix means it is an affix or a group of letters that is added to the beginning of a word, modifying its meaning. This is the common way of defining a prefix, right? Now, there are several prefixes. You will find that there are some prefixes which are used to discuss about the repetition of something. They are discussed to indicate an opinion, to express you negate the word, right? So here we have concentrated on only those prefixes which will negate the meaning, right? So we have mainly, I'll be focusing on these prefixes. You have in your textbook, you have 3 main prefixes that are discussed, right? And those prefixes are an, im, and dis, right? Here I have added 2 more for you, right? Let me set out for you. So prefix and infix, a group of letters that is added to the beginning of a word, modifying its meaning. Adding a prefix may negate the word, express repetition or indicate an opinion. The most commonly used prefix used to negate the meaning are an, in, im, dis, il, ir. Right? So we have in total 6 prefixes here to add to the words which will make the words opposite to the meaning, right? Which will negate the word, which will negate the meaning of this word. Now one more thing you must have noticed here is, after every prefix I have put a hyphen, and without that it is incomplete. Whenever you want to describe the prefixes, you want to write it, maybe sometimes you are using it, retaining this hyphen, but most of the time you don't retain this. You omit it. But to write prefix, you should always remember that it has to be followed by a hyphen. Right? Now, some words with prefixes. I have prepared a list for you. The first one is impossible, imperfect, impatient. Here, the main word is possible. The second word is perfect. The third word is patient. These are the main words. But to negate the meaning of these words, I have added one prefix, that is im. I think all of you have followed it. Impossible. That means something which is not possible. Something which is not perfect. It is imperfect. Somebody who is not patient is impatient. Right? Next one. Irregular, irreversible, irrelevant. Here the prefix added is ir. Again, ir is one prefix which will negate it, which will give the opposite of the given word. Regular, something which is regular, something which is not regular, we say irregular, right? Irreversible, something that can be reversed, something reversible. If something is not reversible, you cannot reverse it, then we say it is irreversible. Here, my dear children, you will note one thing. The root word, the main words that we have taken, regular, reversible, relevant. I have purposefully taken these words because here you see the letter R. There are double R, right? One R is of ir and the other one is of the root word. Here you have to note that both the R's are to be retained. It's not that it is a repetition, so we will drop one. No, we have to retain both. We have to see the spelling also. Irregular, irreversible, irrelevant, right? In all the three cases, you will see the R's have been repeated. They are retained, right? Okay, next one. Illegal, illogical, illiterate. Here also you see, I have used the prefix ill. Something which is not legal, we say illegal. Something which is not logical, we say it is illogical. Something who is not illiterate, we say the person is illiterate. Again, you will find the same logic here, that the letters are not dropped. Both the letters are retained here. You have to note it. Sometimes while we are writing, we drop one of the letters and that makes it an incorrect spelling. Next is the prefix dis. Disallow, disrespect, dishonor, right? Disallow something that is not allowed. Disrespect. Disrespect, if you are not showing respect to somebody, then you are disrespecting that person. Dishonor, again, if you are not honoring, this is a dishonor for me, right? Okay. Next is the prefix un. Untidy, something which is not tidy, it's untidy. Unimportant. Here I would say, in many cases you will find that people are using some other, right? It is always unimportant, right? Then unusual, something which is not usual, something which we don't find happening every day, every moment. Then we say it is an unusual thing. Then it's incomplete. The prefix is in. You must have heard this. You must have seen this word several times. It is incomplete. Something which is not completed. Ma'am writes, your teacher writes incomplete work. Please do it, right? So something which is not complete, it is incomplete. Something that is not active, it is inactive. Something that is not visible, we say invisible. There is a very famous story, the invisible man, right? So you have so many tricks to make the words, right? Just by adding prefix, you have a new word with the opposite meaning, and this is how we form several other words. Now your task is, I have given you a list of words. You see, now you have to add, I've given only 3 prefixes, un, im and dis. This is a task from your textbook. So you work out, take your dictionary, explore some other resources and find out which prefix is to be used. I'm not going to, you can get some kind of hint from the previous list that has been given to you. Find out some of the words you'll find even common here. So I would expect all of you to just complete this list by adding these prefixes, right? Okay, let us move on to the next one. Now we'll move on to the sentences. We'll have some sentences where we will be using these prefixes, these words given to you in the list above, and you'll find that you have to add a prefix, right? You have to add un, im or dis, and you have to make a word and use it in this. So first word tidy, right? Second word patient. So first task is to make these words to using the prefixes. You have to first make the negative of these words. Tidy, untidy. Patient, impatient. Kind, unkind. Like, dislike. Able, unable. Appear, disappear. Possible, impossible. Some of the words we have also seen in the list. Some words you will find out. But here are some sentences where you will be using the opposites of these words and filling up the blanks. The teacher got upset with Rani because her work was, you can guess why the teacher gets upset. Because the work was untidy? Yes, right? So let me take some more examples. So let me do one or two more for you. Less rest you can try out. The magician waved his magic wand and made the rabbit. With magicians, what do? They just take the magic wand and let the things disappear. So you can use the here word appear, use a prefix here, dis, combine it and put it in the blank. This is how you have to complete. Now, there are 7 sentences and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. So no problem. We have already solved 2. You can do the rest, right? Next task is again, you see, you have to notice one thing. I have highlighted some words here. Just now we discussed about the prefixes and suffixes. That was one of the techniques to make new words, right? Now the next objective, the next task for us is that we will be talking about linking words. If you remember in my unit 2, I had discussed about the linking word or the words that combine 2 sentences, and I had discussed about the word because. I'm sure you must have gone through that and you still remember what we discussed. Yes, these are the words that combine 2 sentences. If you take 2 sentences independently and if you want to make one sentence, these linkers, or we can say the joining words, help us to combine these 2 sentences. But my dear children, here you have to remember that we cannot use any joining word anywhere. It's not our wish. We have to see what is the context, what is the meaning of the individual sentences, and which connector, which joining word can really be used here. Let me take the first sentence to you, right? Now here the first sentence is, you ordered me to come, so I will not quit your house till I have shaved you. These are the sentences taken from your story. Now you see, you ordered me to come. This is one sentence. I will not quit your house. This is another sentence. If you just read these 2 properly, carefully, you will understand that one is some reason that is given. That what is the reason? Reason is you ordered me to come. And what is the action? Action is I will not quit your house. The reason for not quitting the house of the Sultan is that he had ordered him to come. So the linker, the joining word, so, will give us the reason, right? Why this is. The way we had used because, here we are using so, right? But if you just take this, if you take because here, your sentence will be reversed, right? I will not quit your house because you ordered me to come. So here there is slight difference in placing so. Which part of the sentence, which sentence has to be placed first in case of so, and which sentence has to be placed second in so, using so. So whenever you are using so, the reason has to come first, right? The reason why you ordered me, why has to come. The answer to why has to come first, and then what was the reason, what was the thing that happened because of the reason, right? Till I have shaved you. Now again you have a joining word here, till. So till is telling you about some action that has not yet completed, right? Till I have shaved you. He is not yet over with the shaving part. So he is telling that till I have shaved you, I will not quit your house. Next one. See, while he was shaving me, he could not stop talking, right? While he was shaving me. Now, if you see 2 individual sentences here, he was shaving me and he could not stop talking. These are the 2 individual sentences, right? 2 independent sentences. Now, when we want to combine this and make one single sentence, we can say that 2 actions were taking place. He was shaving me, he could not stop talking. These are 2 actions going simultaneously, right? So, whenever you have such a situation where 2 actions are taking place simultaneously, while is one of the linkers or one of the joining words used very effectively. So, while he was shaving me, he could not stop talking. I think this is clear to all of you. Now we will move on to the next one. That is, let us see some of the sentences here. Now use the joining words given in the box to fill the blanks. The joining words given to you are if, or, till, where, unless, so, and while. If, first one is if. If itself tells you that it is telling you something, some condition. So whenever you have two sentences which tells you, out of which one tells you a condition, then you will be using if. Or whenever you have a choice, this or that, right? Okay. Till, again, I have already mentioned about it. It is talking about some action that has not yet completed till now, right? Where, it is talking about the place. Unless, again, unless this word is completed, I'll not go. So one thing has to be over. Two actions, independent actions, but two actions, one depending on the other. Finishing, after finishing one, the other. Or one condition, unless this happens, this will not happen, right? So again tells you the reason and while. Please wait with me, dash the bus arrives. Right? So here you can say the bus arrives is one sentence, please wait with me another. So two things are to be put together. Which one? Can you guess? I think your guess is correct. It should be till the bus arrives. Yes. Do you like football? Cricket? So again you have the names of two games. So here you have a choice, and I said whenever you have a choice you can use or. So these are some of the sentences. I'll give you some time. Just take your pencil and quickly solve it. Right. Okay. So now you have the other sentences here with you. My father packed up my lunch. My mother combed my hair. Two actions taking place simultaneously. So while my mother combed my hair. We will reach on time. We go by the car. So, one is giving the reason. So, we go by the car. Your speech cannot be heard by the audience. You use a powerful mic. Next one. We went to the zoo. It's talking about a place. So, you can guess. Right? I think you are complete. You have completed your task. Now, these are some of the answers given to you. Just match it with your answers. I am sure you have done it the way it is given to you. It matches with your answers, right? Very good. So with this, we are over with the words and the connectors and all, right? Now, let us write something. Our discussion is going to end with the writing task. My dear children, let me introduce to a very interesting writing activity. And that is called as process writing. You see, whenever we are doing any task, there are steps to do it. I'm sure you all enjoy having Maggi, right? Or having noodles. Or you are always interested to be in the kitchen with your mother in preparing some dish. You are too small now to prepare any dish, but at least you must have tried sometime preparing a cup of tea with your mother, right? Now, when you are preparing something, it's not that immediately it is ready. There is a certain process. There are steps to carry out some task. So what process writing means is that these are the steps to carry out any work, to carry out any task, or to carry out any job, right? So now today we have taken a very interesting task, right? It's given here. Now we are going to see how it works. How does your father or uncle shave his face every day? Have you ever seen? It's not that they just get up, take the shaving brush, apply the cream, and then start doing it, and within seconds it is over. It's not that. There are steps, and those children who have observed they will definitely be finding it similar to what we have discussed, what we have written here. But those who have not, those who have missed, you please watch it and match it with the steps that we have written or your book mentions, your textbook mentions, right? These are some of the simple steps that your father or uncle or your brother, they follow while shaving their face every day. First, what do? He lathers his face with shaving cream. Right? You must have seen they take a bit of shaving cream, and then with the help of the brush, they just make some foam kind of thing that is called as lather, right? So here it is used, lather is the verb, and here it has been used. He lathers his face with shaving cream, using shaving cream, right? Note these words that are highlighted here. First one that we get is lathers, right? Next one is, then he uses his razor. Note, we have another word here, then. The word then has a purpose. It is telling you what is the next step. Then what happens? Then what happens? So you get a feel that this action took place after this, or this action followed this, right? So then he uses his razor. It's not that he immediately starts using his razor. He first lathers his face using a shaving cream, and then he uses his razor, right? He runs it over his face. It's not that one part is done, the second part is done, and it is done. No, he runs it over his face in even strokes. Even strokes. It's not, he gently does it. He does not do it in hurry. He has to do it in a very proper and slow manner. Otherwise, he would injure himself. After this, he washes his face and wipes it to get rid of the lather. After this, he washes his face. It's not that he takes a towel and wipes it off. No, it's not that. He washes it with the water and then wipes it using a cloth or using small piece of cloth, something. Then he wipes it to get rid of the lather. So we observe that there is a procedure. There is a process. There are steps to carry out this action, right? Now, two things you have to remember. One is that there is step-by-step process of writing, of doing some action. This is one thing. Second is use of the correct form of verb here. We see in all the verbs that are highlighted here, you must have noticed that we are using the simple present tense, right? We have not used past tense or we have not used future tense. In all these verbs, we have used simple present or present indefinite tense, right? And see the structure, the subject plus V1. V1 is the first form of the verb. Lather, use, run, wash, wipe. These are the first form of the verbs. Now we have added, depending on the subject. If subject is here, in all the cases you will find the subject is third person personal pronoun. It is a single and it is he, right? So it is not a plural, it is a singular one. So we have to use S or ES or IES in some cases. In all these cases that are highlighted here, you'll find it is either S or ES, right? So this you have to remember. Now, after you have understood all these, you have to do a small task. And what is that activity? I've given you a very interesting activity. What is that? Think of any two activities that you enjoy doing the most, like preparing tea for mother, making salad, washing your clothes, etc. Choose any two activities and taking the clue from the given process, write how you do these. So out of these three activities, if you think none of these things are interesting, you can choose any other activity. But I would prefer you people taking any of these three activities like preparing tea for mother. So how do you prepare tea? It's not that you just go and boil and put some tea leaves and put some sugar and milk and all that and it's ready. There is a certain procedure when to put what, right? Similarly, making salad. It's not that you just take it out from the fridge, take it and start cutting it. No, and the salad is ready. No, there is again some process. Then when you take clothes, your clothes. You just don't put it in water, in a bucket filled with water. There is again some procedure. So think, these are some of the activities, some of the jobs that we observe or we have seen or we are doing it every day. Only the thing you have to keep in mind is the use of the verbs here. Which verbs? So first think, take any one activity or choose any two activities and choose the verbs that you think of the steps. Write it in simple clause, okay, simple verbs, or just look, first find out the simple verbs for that, right? Which verbs you will really be using and then put it in a sentence. I think you will enjoy doing this and I'm sure you have enjoyed the session too. Now we come to the concluding part of this session. So after completing this whole section of prose and then taking up some language activity, what have we learned today? We have definitely learned some of the new words, right? Yes, using your dictionary here, I would again mention, please refer your dictionary. Please keep your dictionary with you and develop a habit of referring to the dictionary again and again so that you will improve your dictionary skills. You will see the meaning, you will see the pronunciation, you will see how it is used. So that is going to really benefit you a lot. Then understanding the story and extracting the answers from the passage. We have understood the story, comprehended the story, and we have also tried to find out where the answers are hidden in the passage. Then we have discussed about the prefixes. We have also discussed about the combining words, the joining words, the connectors, the linkers, and then lastly we have discussed about the process writing. And with this, I come to the end of this session. Hope all my children have enjoyed and you all have benefited out of it. Thank you so much. Goodbye.